glad to finally catch one of these.
Yeah.
Meet you guys.
Well, this one, it's going to be a lot of stuff in this one. I hope I haven't overwhelmed everybody already. Well, I'm for going ahead and get started, and we'll have to catch up on Vincent if he comes in. And before I get started, I want to wish everybody happy St. Patty's Day. And so with that, let's get right into it. Public comment. I think in the future, when we start meeting together, I think we'll have a lot more effort to get public involved in these meetings. So obviously right now with the Zoom, we're very limited in not allowing any outside participation. So we'll certainly work on that, as particularly when we get to future meetings when we can meet together. It's going to be really nice. Finally,
Mike.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I know the town does stuff on YouTube. Will these meetings? Do you know if Leonard's going to put these on YouTube? Our meeting.
We are on YouTube at the moment. Take a look at your top left of your screen.
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, we're on live on YouTube, and we record the meeting.
Great, thanks, Leonard.
Thanks, Leonard. I didn't know you were on there too. Okay. Well, before I get started on the agenda further, is there anybody who have any additions? Anything they want to talk about before we get going? Go ahead, John.
All right. Just sharing screen. All right. A few new developments since our last meeting. Actually, one other thing. I don't think our meeting was posted to the calendar, along with not even having and I never saw any agenda. So I'm not sure we can actually take any actions today as a committee. Moving on, SCDOT has adopted a complete streets policy since we last met. And in accordance with that, they've also updated the roadway design manual. This page is the Palmetto Cycling Coalition, where you can find these two easy links to these two things. All right. I guess I'll send you a post-meeting link to these two pages. And that's it for that. I have nothing else at this time.
Okay, thanks, John. And I definitely appreciate you able to bring, display some of this information as we go forward. It really helps out a lot, I think. In fact, I know it does. There's no question about it. Getting into the agenda, the minutes from the previous meeting, were they posted, Bonnie? I can't hear you,
Bonnie. You're muted.
Yeah, they were posted.
Sorry. Yes, I just went to our website. They were posted Monday.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any?
I must have been looking in the wrong spot.
I'll send you the link, John, if you can get to them.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments about the minutes as posted? Any additions or changes we need to make before we officially adopt them? Okay, I think we're supposed to ask somebody to accept the meeting minutes.
I move we accept the meeting minutes.
I second it.
Thank you. Okay, we've got those adopted.
All those in favor say aye.
I'm sorry? Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Oh.
Motion is adopted.
Thank you, Gene. I need that. I'm used to meetings where things just go. And it's been a while.
That's fine.
It's been a while, so please keep me in line. That's for sure.
Just gently nudge.
Yeah, please. I need it in every way, one way or the other. Well, let's talk about the committee organization a little bit. at least some of my thoughts. I think I sent them out to a lot of people, to everyone about, kind of my feelings about what we've done in the past. A lot of good hard work, but it kind of view it, and I've only been involved for a little over a year now. So maybe there was a little bit different way we work, but we seem to be a little bit more reactionary than proactive. And, my question is, as a committee, is that the way we want to stay, or do we want to try to really promote some of the activities and organization and planning for countywide, really, but certainly in the town of Somerville? I'm glad to go either way the committee wants. I don't, there is a lot of work that we can be done, but I don't think we need to do all of it. In fact, I know we can't do all of it. I talked to Bonnie a little bit the other day, and one of the issues for the town is that they're short-staffed in a lot of areas. So, maybe some of the things that the town normally would be doing, or staff or so on, they just don't have the support. Is that kind of generally correct, Bonnie, in some instances?
Well, in regards to like bicycle, pedestrian,
Right.
like the inventory, the sidewalk, inventory that's, we've been working on. In these meetings, we have a lot of discussion and where sidewalks are needed. And I think generally a lot of the, folks in public works and streets department that have been here a while, know where sidewalks are in town and, what's DOT, what's county, what's town. But yeah, we don't have that. And staff does not have the time to, I guess, go around and do that and create that inventory.
I got an idea for that.
Great.
So it's just extra help, just these different initiatives that are brought up and different, items. It's like, yeah, it's like we see that too, and we want to do that as well. But in the whole, scheme of everything, there's just a lot going on. Somerville's a busy place, and unfortunately, we haven't had the time to do, as much bike pedestrian stuff as I'm sure y'all would hope. So, that's why this committee's here and, helping the town,
Yep.
helping us.
Yeah, Gene, you had something?
Yeah, so obviously civil engineer, I mean, I've thought about that particular project, Bonnie, and I think it can be done. And the way in reading the bicycle vision plan that you sent out, you guys had that Clemson student, I guess, is working on his master's degree. I have co-opted kids here many, many years from the high school, from their engineering department over there. And, when I was at my college, I had to do a senior project. Most of the engineering students do. I'm not sure at the high school level they do that, but we could talk to them in terms of STEM and stuff like that, and maybe get a couple of high school students under the supervision or direction of me or whoever, to do some GIS stuff and inventory, and it would look good on a college application and all kinds of stuff. And that's free labor. And so, and then they get a chance to help the town. So it may be a way to try to create that inventory or fill the gap, no cost, but just volunteerism. And they get something for it. They get some guy that's working for an engineer. And again, the town gets something out of it. I think Thomas Dion, my old survey professor at the Citadel, had a bunch of cadets when they were doing the depth mold survey, the history. I think they donated that to the town. He had a bunch of cadets. He had the college equivalent of that. That's another thing that made me think of it. So I'd be happy to kind of spearhead that and see if we can develop that going. That would be kind of a good way to fill out that inventory.
That's awesome. Thank you
Well,
so
Gene,
much.
I'm sorry, Bonnie.
I was gonna say that's awesome. Thank you so much. I know it's probably been 2 or 3 years ago we looked into that when we got our GIS analyst, and Karen started here, so we were doing more in GIS, but we just didn't have the data collected. And so it's like, okay, we just need to collect data. And it's like, okay, our stormwater crews can do it when they're out, but it just didn't get done. And it was just that I talked with HR about, hey, can we get an intern? I'm sure people would love experience. Is there a way to, advertise that? And it just didn't go anywhere. And I don't know, why it really didn't, because I agree, it's great to have a student that wants experience, it'd be wonderful.
Yes, and there's a really good GIS application that's open source, and so they can get it on their laptop, and I can teach them how to use it. And so not only would they get some experience and be data collectors, which is really what we need, but the benefit for them is they would get some training that they could put on something and help them in the future.
And I would like to know that too. You could train me.
Yeah, okay.
See about that.
I hear you.
I'm actually doing that this summer. I'm hoping to get an intern. I've got the position approved just to do an inventory of parks and stuff. And I'm curious, what did you say was the application that is really good that you'd be using?
I use what's called QGIS, which is an open source GIS program. It's pretty robust on the level with ERSI and ArcView and stuff like that. And so I use it in my commercial work because it's open source, and I have all the highways and roads and traffic counts and counties. And it's a very very workable piece of software, and it's free. So
okay, I appreciate it.
Sure.
That's awesome. And probably, Amy, with doing the parks, I know the trails as well could be a part of that, possibly.
Yes, I'm hoping to do all the trails that we maintain, but and just inventory, everything from dog bag stations to benches to water fountains, get everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Hopefully, if I can get an intern hired, that's what they'll be doing this summer.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gene.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, as far as the meeting, this is actually a little bit later topic with Olden business, but no problems there. Appreciate you bringing that up, Gene. And I was wondering, would you possibly be kind of the owner of the list?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That's great.
I can help and develop it, share it with John.
Right.
John can
Yep.
make it visible to everybody, I'm sure.
Yep.
So
yeah, and we'll in the future, meetings, we'll definitely get maybe more into details about this. Right now, we got so much, I was kind of reluctant to get into specific details today.
Yeah, that's fine.
But definitely, yeah. And but far as overall organization, what I'm hearing is, and that we want to be more of a proactive committee and move forward as much as we can at the development of some of these plans and lists and other ideas. Is that what I'm hearing as a committee?
Yeah.
Any objections to that, maybe?
No objections.
Okay, good. I'm gonna push us forward, folks, and I hope. I'm gonna try. But my main goal is to make biking, walking, a safe area within the town that we can move around and maybe eventually kind of connect somehow everything together, or at least have a plan to get it done. And so, as we get forward on the active transportation plan, I think we'll definitely start putting all those things together. But before I get on that specifically, let's talk about community involvement. Gene, obviously that's an excellent idea about getting interns involved where we can. But I'd like for us to start thinking possibly of other, as I said, maybe some advisory groups that we can organize some of the, community and get involved and be, I don't know if we can. Some of this is kind of questions in my mind. Are we able to create subcommittees, or is there anything that prevents us from doing it, for instance? And I see it more as to try to get the community involved with us, and get their input too, in addition to helping us get some of this work done. So I think, somebody else have any ideas in that regard?
Well, I'll
any
mention
comment?
obviously
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
being in Bike Walk Somerville. That's probably like my passion, and that's
Right.
where I would love to kind of organize a way for us to be in conjunction with the Bike Walk Somerville organization, because we are doing a lot of good things behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Amy can attest to that. We recently had a meeting with the town. We're working very closely with the town and the county. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last call that we had about some trail enhancements to the Sawmill Branch Trail. And then of course the trail, like the cohesive town and county trail system. So that's coming. There is a lot of great news coming. We just haven't had everything approved yet. So once that happens, we are going to need, our job as Bike Walk Somerville is to get the community involved and make the community aware of what's going on. It was brought to my attention, I didn't realize, but the town and the county don't have any marketing department. They don't have a marketing person. They don't have a marketing department. So it's sort of our job, and we're all volunteers at Bike Walk Somerville as well, to, push that stuff forward to the community. So any type of partnership we would welcome and we would love it. So, if you want somebody that can spearhead that, I'd be happy to do so.
Yes, if you would, that would be excellent. That would be excellent. And
we have,
I'm sorry.
We have some ideas that we discussed in our last meeting that we would like to bring to the Bike and Pedestrian Committee with regards to the sidewalks and multi-use paths and things like that to help connect the Sawmill Branch Trail. So that's something that we'll talk about, or I'll request once we get into the priority list discussion.
Okay. What, I think I put it in one of my emails, the thought of maybe an advisory group specifically for Sawmill Branch Trail. I don't know, maybe maybe the Bike Walk Committee is an appropriate place to kind of put that, or them reporting back to us. We can have open discussions. Maybe I'd even thought about a special meeting specifically for the Sawmill Branch Trail, but maybe as we go forward, we'll see how that develops and see if that's needed.
Yeah, when once we're able to share the master plan, and Amy will be able to, attest to that. I think it's coming soon. We're just waiting for some last approvals.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be able to kind of unveil it to the community and see what the vision is for the trail. And then obviously we need to take it to the town, county, and then to some private sectors to, raise money for funding for things.
Hey, Sandy, that is the vision plan from the bike and from that group?
From Bike Walk Somerville. It's not the same vision plan that the town had. This is a master plan that was done to just have some enhancements to the trail specifically.
Right, because the town, is required by law to have a comprehensive plan, and part of that, they include bicycles and pedestrian, and so they're required to have that. Now, the plan that Bonnie sent out is 10 years old. That's a pretty old plan. So, since you brought that up, one of the things, Mike, we're talking about looking forward as opposed, I call it strategic versus tactical. That's my military background, right? So, because what Sandy's talking about, those enhancements to the trail, in my opinion, are kind of, getting down to the tactical, although the vision plan is more strategic.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to look at ours, look at that plan since it's 10 years old, besides the inventory, but and say, wow, is this still relevant? Is there things that need to be changed? Where do we need to be with that?
Yes. Good point, Gene. And that was brought up like in our comprehensive plan that I think John has up, which
that's the town comprehensive plan, not the
town comprehensive plan. And that bike plan, it wasn't fully vetted. It didn't have the public meeting back in 2010, and so it was kind of it wasn't really adopted formally, just because it was done by a grad student and it didn't go through the whole process. So it's not like our official plan, but that's like the closest thing to a bike plan that, we have. And I have a lot of copies if anybody wants a hard copy of it.
I'd rather have electronic if you got it, but but I will take a hard copy at some point.
Did I email that to everybody?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I'll forward it to you.
Okay, Gene, and that kind of goes into my next topic a little bit, unless anybody has anything else on community involvement they want to add. Is an active transportation plan, bike walk, which I would see as maybe a revision or brand new from the 2010 plan going forward. My thoughts on that type of transportation plan, we definitely would need some assistance. We would need resources if we want to do it right. I was looking at the Berkeley, Dorchester, Charleston plan, and I think it seems like to me we need something along those lines if we can possibly get it developed to really tie all these things together for the town of Somerville with other things going on and what we see as our vision within town itself. Bonnie, I believe you mentioned at least at one point there was a possibility of some funding for that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's still on our radar.
Okay.
It goes back to the, we've had a position for a traffic engineer that's
Right.
been advertised since October, and we haven't gotten much, bites on that, but
That's interesting.
yeah. So if anybody knows any traffic engineers, that would like to work in Somerville. So we're hoping that, once we get that, that position, and then they can, really help with that. But, a consultant, we'd have to hire a consultant to put that together. And, it's anywhere, $50,000 to $100,000.
Right.
But the more, information they have, because a lot of it starts with an inventory, knowing what we
Sure.
have and things like that. It'll help with that, but yeah, it's just at this time, there's still other items and priorities that the town has rather than the, bike pedestrian plan.
Okay, so let's talk about possible ways we can move it forward. My thoughts maybe are to go to the council, go to the mayor, kind of just discuss it in general, kind of get some feedback from them about what kind of support we could get from them for that. Because I would think they would have to approve any funding. They would have to provide any funding and help us with any additional resources. So is it appropriate, Bonnie, for us to go maybe straight to the mayor and just ask for a meeting and, start talking about, this among some of these other topics? Is that possible? Is that something that's appropriate?
Sure. Yeah, it's
I can talk to him. I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, he has an open door, policy is very approachable. Yeah, he'd that would be fine. I guess coming as a committee, just knowing, it has the support of the committee and
Right.
Yeah, so we can jump into that, right? So,
Yep.
So right now, town council and the mayor are involved in the uniform development ordinance, right? And so there's a big discussion about that. The planning commission, I think, there's a meeting with that before. So anyways, there's a lot going on in terms of that development ordinance, right? And so one of the key tenets of that development ordinance was in the town vision plan, which I think John, he had the comprehensive plan, which is the town changed the name to meet the legal requirements of the state. So the vision plan is the comprehensive plan. But that vision plan had a tenet of that is pedestrian commuting. Now there's some discussion amongst this UDO, kind of change that looks at statistics of bicycle commuting in towns. For instance, in Charleston, the percentage of bicycle commuters is 3%. So, you know, and so anyways, there's a lot of kind of discussion about that, right? In terms of, and so we've got to kind of, I think we need to look at our vision plan and the strategic plan, the 2010 thing, and then kind of get our ducks in a row. Mike, this is my opinion, just my opinion. And then I'm sure, Ricky, we can approach council and say, hey, this is our vision. And Sandy, we ought to kind of coordinate, I think, so that maybe we have some overlap with that group.
Mhm.
And so then we can kind of prevent a united front to the council folks in terms of where we think we ought to be going strategically and even tactically short term. And I think that would be a huge step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yes, I totally agree. And Gene, well, perhaps me and you, at least, anybody else wants to help, or maybe we'll put together some ideas about what to discuss with the mayor, present to him, and maybe as a committee moving forward, of course, making sure we get input from everyone else, but and then set up a meeting with the mayor, and it would help me tremendously. Obviously, you have a lot more background specifically with the council and everything than I do. It would help me a lot education wise, and also getting input from other people, you know, from the mayor and the council for I'm sure. So I guess in an effort to get this, keep the meeting going, I'll think about it a little bit, work with you, Gene, and then we'll get maybe some information out to the rest of the committee about some thoughts about how we can approach this.
Sure.
So I got the first action, huh? Maybe the second. I guess Gene got the list. That was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else anybody want to discuss on the transportation plan itself? Okay. With that, let's move on. The next, we're moving into old business on our agenda. And I think we've pretty much addressed most of what we want to talk about on the priority list. The one other thing, improvement priority list I wanted to maybe bring up for a quick discussion is that I didn't see, you know, and I didn't think about it in the past as I looked at this, but, you know, safety as a criteria should be definitely included in the list, it seems to me. You know, there's no, I mean, in fact, that may be even the most important criteria in general is safety. And, you know, maybe, Gene, as we move forward on this, maybe we can throw out some ideas about how to include safety in our criteria, or maybe improve the list overall. Just our general approach to it.
Yeah, that comes down
comments?
to the prioritization, which, I mean, we'll work with Bonnie on. I mean, I have my ideas in terms of traffic count, speed limits, kind of engineering parameters that lead me to safety concerns. Like Sandy, she's still here?
Sandy had to go. She had a meeting, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, so I run, like Sandy, I run with the Fleet Feet group, and I've ran on the sidewalk on Berlin Myers, and I've run on the sidewalk on Trolley Road, and you know, both of those sidewalks are for safety. I don't feel super safe on them, but at least there's a minimal amount of safety. So traffic count and speed, you know, really makes it a necessity to have it. And even when you do have it, I'm not sure you feel super safe, but at least it's better than nothing, right? So, so anyways, yeah, well, once we create that inventory, we can create criteria for the priority, right? And we can include safety in that, or what parameters, how we define safety, you know, and then we can use that to help the town prioritize where they should spend their money.
Great. Excellent. Any other comments on the list itself? General comments? Any Does anybody know of any additions at this point? I know there's a lot on it at the moment. Anything else we might need to include? Okay, with that, let's move on to the next one. And we, with John Mott, front and center to talk about alternative routing for the trail during construction. Very difficult, it looks like to me, to address. But John Mott has had an extensive background in this and done a lot of work and looked at it in a lot of ways. And he has a lot of background. And John, if you could, as concise as possible, fill us in as a committee, on the background for this, and then, discuss the issues, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Roland G. Myers. Let's start with the easy one. All right. Whoops. All right. The Berlin G. Myers project, the easy one. A new wrinkle just recently emerged. They're going to have to be closing downstream of Loudon Drive, which is here, in order to widen the canal at these places.
Whoa.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't aware.
That's disappointing. I run on that 3 times a week.
Yeah, I'm on it all the time myself.
Yeah, that's because they're going to be using it to run the dump trucks up and down and the construction equipment, because the widening is being done mostly on the opposite side of the canal. Some of it is being done on the same side, so there's going to be a little less grass. The good thing is we have a multi-use path network in place for most of that. Here are these green ones. You can detour around most of that with the existing multi-use path network. One thing I wish they could do is, let's see.
Wow, John, you're going too fast. I can't see.
I'm sorry. Multi-use path network here in dark green, this personal map I've made, along Dorchester Road and Bacon's Bridge Road. We have multi-use paths that can get us around this section and this section that are going to be closed. And they're going to be closing those before construction of the roadway begins. Before roadway construction begins, so they should be reopened by the time the section upstream of Loudon Drive, alongside the new Parkway segment, is closed.
Okay, John, help me out here. So from Old Trolley Road down to Loudon Drive, the path on the north side of the canal is going to be closed.
Yes.
And now you're saying down past Loudon, they're gonna close that also. How far? Down to the pool?
All right. You see, here's Loudon Drive.
Yep.
And it's going to be closed from there. I don't know if they're going to close. The Army Corps of Engineers document doesn't say how much is going to be closed. We're going to find that out at the upcoming. At the upcoming, no, that's not what I clicked on. At the upcoming SCDOT hearing.
Yeah, I saw that on the trail the other day at Loudon
Going to
Drive.
find out just how much of it's going to be closed during that time, but that closure is needed, but all the widening has to be done before road construction is done. So it's going to be closed from here at Loudon Drive, and excavation has to go all the way down to the bridge, basically.
Yeah.
So all of that is going to be closed?
That's what Army Corps of Engineers document says. I
Oh.
forgot to queue that up. I can bring it up, but
No, that's all right. I definitely
actually, no, I
believe
don't
you.
have that
I'm
queued up.
just disappointed.
Yeah.
Thanks for having this information, John, because I did not realize that. I knew it was under review again by the Corps, but I didn't realize that it would involve trail work that would, or the ditch work, canal improvements that would make the trail, have to close.
Unpassable, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When are they supposed to be closing it? Because this is news to me too.
yeah. Do you know, John?
When is it? Excuse me, what was the question again?
The timeline for when they're going to be looking to start this work, the
That
widening of the canal.
we don't know that. That's another one of the things that we'll be finding out at the public information meeting with SCDOT.
Which I'm definitely going to try to attend. I plan on attending, and I encourage
Well, it's going to be
everyone.
virtual. It's all
Oh, it
going to
is.
be at that address.
Oh, okay. Definitely. Okay, well, this is
Well, that's a tactical
Oh.
item we need to get on the agenda.
absolutely. We need to really work on this one because that, in my estimation, is one of the more popular recreational activities in the whole town is using that trail. I mean, I see it every day, and Gene and others who use it a lot also see it, I'm sure.
Yes.
Especially since the pandemic, it's amazing how much more it seems like more people are on there.
So possibly, it'll be closed for the canal work before the construction begins, but then
Right.
also we have it'll be closed during construction, right? We also have that aspect. to it.
Right.
The other section upstream
Right.
of Loudon Drive will be closed during road
During that
construction.
construction. Okay.
So-
Yes.
One segment, the downstream segment will be open. Also, they're going to repave it for us because it's going to get chewed up. Will be open, and they'll be done. All of this bank work has to be completed. Let's see. I had it queued up, lost it. All the bank work has to be done. Nope, that's not it. All the bank work has to be done before downstream of Loudon has to be done before construction starts. I can't queue it. I didn't have it queued up. Here we go. Like here at Bacon's Bridge Road, it's north is, yeah, here, like along stream, just downstream of Bacon's Bridge Road is they're going to have to be narrowing the amount of space. They're going to be narrowing the distance between the canal and the path. As you can see here, the blue is where they're going to be excavating out. It's not going to be quite as deep as the main canal, but it's to provide during high water situations. It's to provide greater flow capacity. And there's
Wow.
and so they're doing all sorts of different things with that.
That document you're looking at, John, what is that?
This is the Army Corps of Engineers public comment document. I'll have to send you the link to that. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yes.
please do, John.
Yeah, please do. Send me that.
And yeah, it's very it's interesting information.
Yes. Okay. Well,
As a quick aside, I suspect the Army Corps of Engineers is going to deny this application also because it does not. Remember how Dorchester Road got overtopped twice?
right.
At this point, this new application does not include a floodway bridge for that point, and so there's still the bottleneck at that point. So I suspect I have absolutely no evidence for this, but from reading that document, they provide all this extra conveyance, and there's still that bottleneck at that point. So, all right.
All right, well, John, let me just say a couple of things here. So in essence, when you were saying downstream, I was thinking upstream of Loudon. And so that's why I was totally confused with some of the stuff you had told me. So we really have two different issues, obviously very related. One is upstream from Loudon and one is downstream from Loudon. One is how do we get across Bacon's Bridge trolley area, to continue. And the other is what do we do in the meantime, if anything, when they're doing all these modifications with the rest of the canal itself and closing the trail?
The only really our mitigation is the existing, the only mitigations we have that are already in place are the multi-use paths on Dorchester Road and Bacon's Bridge Road. Those will allow some bypass for this section. But for this section, there's a little less, there's fewer options. You can go, you can go through the Newington neighborhood for parts of it.
Yes, you can. And a lot of bikers in particular like to ride around Newington. I know I used to when I was biking a lot, just because it was a safe environment, not that much traffic, in addition to the trail. So we've got all of this, where do we go? Where are we going to go to tackle this? How are we going to approach this?
There is one mitigation that would help that we can request from SCDOT, but is not currently planned, is to complete this segment from YMCA down to Dorchester Road to help with the connectivity of the system while those two other sections are closed.
One obvious issue is how do we get across Dorchester Road there?
That's actually not an issue. The multi-use path is on the same side as the connection would be.
Yeah, but you got to cross right there at Dorchester Road.
Not to reach the multi-use path.
I see what you're saying. I thought I was thinking of the continuation across in the future.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, you can definitely get back to it.
John, can you show the alt route that the SCDOT are proposed for the upstream of Loudon? Yeah, that thing right there.
They want you to go through the.
I've run that path because I run on the trail to the bridge and come up through Dolphin Estates. Mm-hmm. So I run on Ediso Drive. That is a horrible. I hate running on that road.
Yeah, and Sandy and I, we also bicycled this section, and this area is especially problematic.
Yes,
yeah. I told them at the public meeting, I said, that's a horrible, that's not it's not workable in my mind. Mm-hmm. Not from safety or anything.
Right.
Yeah, that is not.
They are literally asking bicyclists to bicycle against traffic on the sidewalk. Not figuratively, literally.
Yeah. No,
that's one of the reasons that it needs to be moved to the opposite bank during construction.
Okay, I think we see a lot of the issues involved with the construction. My thoughts are, and I'm throwing this out for a question, is do we have a special meeting specifically to address the canal, the Sawmill Branch Trail, but definitely what overall, but also specifically during construction, and try to at least bring it to community, give them knowledge about what's going to be happening, because I know folks like me and Gene and others that use it a lot are not going to be happy.
As a public information meeting?
Somehow, I'm sorry?
You mean as a public information meeting or just a committee meeting?
Public. I'd say both.
Well, I think there's two things here, Bonnie. First of all, I think, I have my ideas, but
Right.
Bonnie, what is the town's view or Russ's view on, I know they're on the using the trail on the opposite bank?
I know that we were pushing for that. But then I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, who is the decision maker on that?
I think it was council. I remember it going to council to discuss. And once it got, like, it couldn't be put on the opposite side. Once it got up close to East Carolina and Bacon's Bridge, like behind Harris Teeter.
Right, they wouldn't give us an easement, right? They wouldn't let us use.
Just need a bridge here.
No, up there behind the little swath of land behind the shopping center.
Yeah.
Right, that right there, that is owned up to the right of way by the folks that own that, and they didn't want to. I think they were very reluctant to, or they just wouldn't let us put the trail.
I think.
Right, so the town would have to condemn that, right? That would have to be a condemnation, and I'm not sure they want to do that.
Right.
But
that was
anyways.
where it last was, but I don't know about taking it from Loudon, like having it on the opposite side from Loudon to where there's a connection to a neighborhood nearby.
There's currently a connection here at Elizabeth Drive.
Well, that's still on the other side, like during the
Yes,
construction.
we could kill one bird with two stones by putting a bridge here. A
We
pedestrian.
can't put
No, we're talking about during
No.
construction.
during construction. You can't do that during construction.
Well, yeah, well, that's true.
Oh, you see that by what's that, Goldfinch Lane? That would just be a short run. I don't know if it would be worth it.
Goldfinch Lane?
At the bottom of the screen. Yep, right there.
Yeah,
Get out. See,
Yes, there's the Willett Drive pedestrian
Drive.
bridge
There we go.
connection.
Like if it went on if there was enough right of way on that side to put in, the trail
There it is.
temporarily.
Well, Mike, here's a great opportunity for a subcommittee, right? We need to come up with a plan that a alternate plan to the SCDOT plan, because I think that one's horrible.
Another
agree.
issue is if another issue preventing moving it to the opposite side is it would require some grading and additional flood modeling, and the flood modeling is one of the large delays in this project.
Okay, well, let's, Gene, I think that's a good idea. Do we want to form a smaller committee within ourselves to put something together to present to the committee? Does that sound reasonable?
Or we could do a workshop of all of us.
Right.
However, I just think it's some type of in between this meeting and the next meeting. I think that would be a tactical item that we should address, since it's dear to many people's hearts, not just mine and yours, Mike. And so, and I think I think it's a great idea to have a public information meeting once we get ironed out.
Right.
Because I think you're right. I think the public would like to know Sandy's group can get involved in that. Again, it gives them a chance to have a voice. And I think council will appreciate, if there's a lot of input, that's what's going to sway them in terms of doing something.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's always the politics behind all of this, right? To some extent.
That's right.
If we can get enough support, it'd be hard for people to say no, hopefully.
That's correct.
Okay, so where do we go from here? Let's, why don't we form maybe me, Gene, and John? Anyone else? Maybe Sandy? Anybody else want to participate in a smaller group to get some thoughts together, exchange some emails about setting up a meeting, where we go from here, how we present it, and then moving towards a more public special meeting? Does that sound reasonable?
Those are me, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
One thing about meeting, this sort of ties in. Currently, the last committee decided we would meet every other month. We are free to decide on our own whether we want to meet every month or whenever we want.
I totally agree, John. And that was another thought I had, and I actually meant to bring it up when we're talking about organization overall. Right now it is, bi-monthly. We can have special meetings, obviously. Unfortunately, April, at least in the middle of the month, most of April, I'm going to be out of pocket. My wife gets a new knee, and I have to work harder than she does, I think. But because she got the one earlier in the year, and man, I worked hard. But at any rate, so I'll be out. But nonetheless, we can move it forward. We don't have to have it, middle of a month or something. And let's work together. Maybe we can get together with a subcommittee, get our thoughts together, and then move forward with this. I'm not sure exactly what the action is other than to do that. Anybody else have thoughts?
Well, I mean, town council, those guys work continuously, right? They just,
Right.
The public interface or the chance
Right.
for public input is once a month, right? So that's their chance to present to the public all their ideas and then get input from the public once a month. So just because we have a meeting bi-monthly doesn't mean we're not, doing work, and we can collaborate completely, by email and all that kind of stuff. I think having it every other month, a chance to present our ideas on YouTube so the public can see them and stuff like that is probably appropriate. I don't know that I don't have strong opinion one way or another. I mean, if you want to do it every month, it's not a big deal. But but that's the whole purpose of the meeting, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean that we're not working behind. We're going to do what we're doing behind as a committee.
Well,
Absolutely.
well, I don't know what the rules governing this would be per se, but the town council can't, it's not just for public meetings. The town council can't have, I don't think that they're allowed to have a meeting with all of them together as a meeting. Unless it's agenda. But yes, they do communicate, certainly. So I mean,
Yes.
The point is simply, we can't, we couldn't get together for a workshop with all of us in place without inviting other people, without it being public. I think that's probably the case.
I don't disagree with that, right? I mean, if we were going to make some kind of policy decision or something, or make some kind of formal statement from the group, I agree with that. But I mean, they have workshops and stuff that aren't necessarily, put on YouTube, but any kind of meeting that has a policy or decision, it has to be public.
Okay, my thoughts are to have a subcommittee of me, Gene, John, and Sandy. Would anybody else like to participate, specifically for the alternate routes for the trail?
Specifically
Anybody
John
else
Todd.
want to join in with that little group? And kind of what I thought is we'd get together, put all our thoughts down, and then present them to the committee after we, kind of hash it out and get all the details about what's allowed, what flood studies or whatever, push some thoughts for the committee to consider at our next meeting, or
Amy
maybe
may
even
want to be
before.
involved.
I'm sorry,
Amy may want to be involved.
Amy?
Yeah, not Amy, Sandy.
Sandy, yeah, I mentioned Sandy on that, so. All right, does that sound reasonable as we move forward? And then we'll talk about possibly a public meeting, I don't know, something like June, to kind of present, once we get input from everybody and thoughts, and that way we present it to the public, invite them to a workshop to discuss what the issues are.
And get their input. Yeah.
Right. I'm looking at June right at the moment, but we can, as we move forward and able to get information together, maybe we can make it happen earlier. But at the moment, I'd say let's just kind of shoot for June, because we got to get through the public meeting with the DOT about what's going to happen there, and then get all that input, put it together. Talk to the mayor, council somewhere in there, and then have the workshop. Does that sound reasonable approach?
So the next scheduled bike ped meeting is in May.
Right.
Okay, so still have that and then think about having a workshop in June.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. That was kind of my thoughts on it. Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
Yeah,
Yes.
assuming we can get all the information that we need. I'm caveating that, but I'm 99% sure that'll be fine.
Okay. And we'll work on a specific date as we move forward and also get some announcements out. You know, maybe in conjunction with that, I thought about some type of advisory group from the community, involving the community for the trail. Maybe we can talk about that there too. But at any rate, as we move forward, we'll kind of develop those thoughts. Is there anything else on that? Did we at least hash out what we needed to at the moment for that subject on the trail? Any additions? Okay, with that, that's all that's on our agenda. Our next meeting being May 19th at the moment. Has anybody got any comments, any questions, anything for me or the committee?
Yes.
Thank you for letting me join y'all today. I probably won't crash every meeting, but if there's anything I can do for you guys or y'all need from me, just let me know.
I think in the future we will be leaning on you, Amy.
Sure. Yeah, and John, I don't need to be on that committee, but I'd like to be involved to some degree with the alternate routes that you guys are. I was kind of researching the SCDOT a little bit, but their timeline's really quick that they've got posted.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, I just had a question about May's meeting. I see on your email about inviting the mayor.
Right.
So would you like that to happen in May's meeting, or just wait to be in touch? And
yeah. For the moment, let me. Why not with me, or maybe me and Gene rather, maybe meet with the mayor first before we kind of get him, because maybe we can address some of those things without him having to attend the meeting or something. But if there's obviously if he wants to address the committee, sure he may want to. So but let's Bonnie, I'll work with you and Gene, and we'll see if we can get a meeting arranged with the mayor. And it's man, I'm gonna have to think about my timeline on that. But I'm glad to do it. I wanna try to get things going. So I'll work with you two, and we'll get something going. And after the meeting, even before, I'll report to the committee, let them know what we intend on doing, and then what the results of the meeting were.
So I'm trying to organize things like all engineers do, right? So I'm talking action plan here. So by the next meeting, I will action plan item number 1, since we talked about the inventory. So by the next meeting, I'll have some type of presentation. I'll talk to the high school, figure out what we're going to do, or at least come up with a plan to present to the committee about trying to get the inventory going.
Excellent.
That's action item number 1. And then I guess action item number 2, Mike, you will, this alternate Saw Branch Mill subcommittee, whatever we come up with, you will get and present to the committee as action item 2 in terms of what education on what the SC.
Right.
Obviously, we got to round up our ducks in terms of SCDOT, what they're doing, find out what Russ Cornett, the civil town engineers, thinking. Bonnie can help us with that, so we can get an overall picture. And then so the action item is you'll present or give us the results of that.
Right. Or yeah. So
Whatever
someone will.
Yeah. Whatever that is. Well, you'll coordinate it, whether you do it or
Right.
not.
Yeah. I view that as my job, is coordination.
Yes. All right. So those are the 2 action items we have for next month.
Thank you, Gene. That's what we needed.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, before I sign off, is everyone, at least in general, happy with the direction we're going? Are there anybody that wants to do more, want to do less?
Michael, I'm impressed with your leadership so far.
Who? As I said in the first meeting, wait till the end of the year and see if you still agree.
Well, I did say so far.
Yeah, so far. That's right. You got to qualify that. That's for sure. Okay, well, unless anyone else has anything to add, I appreciate everyone's input. I really do. It makes me feel a lot better about maybe I am kind of going in the right direction with this. My vision, my passion is to make it as safe as far as we can go, particularly bike riders, because I'm a bike rider in the past at least, but also obviously pedestrians, to be as safe environment as we can. And let's think of as many ideas to do that as we move forward. With that, I'm done. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Right.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.